Hello planner peeps, and welcome back to another video. You will notice here that this is not my normal setup. I am live in the flesh, out in the wild, planning on the go. And specifically, I am bullet journaling on the go, which may seem like a lot more work, but I promise you it's super easy so long as you are prepared. So step one of this process is to plan ahead. Pick out what stickers you want, what pens you'll need, and pack it before you go on your trip, right? You don't want to be, well maybe you do, but running to Michael's or Joann to grab craft supplies that you already have at home. So you're actually saving yourself a little bit of money this way, right? And you'll notice that I am actually at a coffee shop. For me, a coffee shop is one of the places where I feel the most productive, rather than in a hotel room where I can just turn on the TV and watch reality shows for hours. At a coffee shop, I don't have that luxury. So I can sit here spread out at a table on a very crowded Saturday afternoon, and I can get to planning, which is the most important thing for this video. You'll see me, I pull out a lot of stickers, but the sheet that I actually end up using is the LPTG Creates, and according to Ali, Papel Picado sticker collab. And just get ready to brace for impact because my tripod is so bad. Like literally, the number of times it fell over when I was recording this, essentially every time I'm splitting the clip, it's because my tripod fell over or I needed a new angle. So just be prepared. And honestly, that sort of goes into my next tip for bullet journaling on the go, which is just to be prepared, be flexible, be ready to, take out your journal when you have 5 minutes in between a meeting at work or something like that, right? Because if you want to just get this done really quickly, you need to be able to make time for it. So here we had sort of planned to go to breakfast and things like that, and then we were going to go back to the hotel room and shoot a video, and I decided that I wanted to go to this coffee shop, and I figured, you know what? Maybe I'll just film it there. And so that's sort of where we're at. It's definitely, I don't have my overhead camera, so the shots really only look good when you hit them from the left side. When you see them from the right side, my right hand ends up covering everything. But basically, the idea of this spread is to have the papel picado just sort of draping over everything. In like nice little arches, and then we are gonna go in and draw in boxes. So here again, you can see not very much because my hand is covering it, but you can kind of see all of the supplies that I have off to the side. And for me, the sort of my essentials, the things that I thought that I really needed to bring were my calligraphs, my X-Acto knife, some Tombow adhesive and whiteout, but in addition to that, just some regular black pens. And honestly, if you're trying to do this on a trip or something, you could even pre-plan your week, make the spread beforehand, and then bujo on the go, just writing in all of your plans. I know for me, I actually forgot one of the pens that I was going to use to do like little color coordinated dots for when I was back planning for another spread, so I wish that I had had that. But at the same time, the only things that I end up using for this spread are the stickers, the black pen, and the calligraphs. So it's kind of a case of underpacking and overpacking at the same time, which for me, I know on a trip, I am a notorious overpacker. If we're going to be there for 3 days, I will pack at least 8 outfits, and I will wear like 2 of them. You would think I was going to be climbing Mount Everest with the amount of socks that I am bringing. And here you can see Gil. He is bringing me a slice of carrot cake because we had to buy something. We were in the coffee shop for a while. But we were actually in Ohio for one of my friends' weddings. We interned together in Ohio back in 2019. I believe that was pre-Plan with M YouTube channel, but if you've been around on my Instagram for that long, more power to you. But it was just really nice to sort of get out of town for the weekend. Oh god, except our hotel, the Wi-Fi wouldn't work. So we had to like do everything using data and Gil's hotspot, which was not fun at all. Like we actually had better Wi-Fi when we went to the cabin in the woods. Here you can see me, I'm using my Archer and Olive ruler. This actually tells you exactly how many dots are on the page, so you don't have to count them. You can actually just do mental math then, or I guess if you wanted to use a calculator, you could do that too. So I believe it's something like 38 by 26 in terms of like the dottage. And then I'm just going in with a calligraph and I am approximately breaking the pages into quarters. At first, I thought I was going to measure it, and then I quickly abandoned that notion. I honestly kind of try to fly fast and loose with my bullet journal because, you know, the point of it is that it's a notebook and I can turn the page, and if I need to just jot something random down, I can. So I don't want to be too structured with it. But at the same time, I want to leave room for functionality, right? These boxes are where I'm going to be keeping track of everything that's happening in this coming week. And trust me when I say that that's something that I need to do. God, that carrot cake was really good though. Like, I'm just sitting here as I'm recording this voiceover staring at it. It had cream cheese icing, which honestly, like, every cake should have, in my opinion. I know there are some dissenters on that front, but that's fine. So I'm using this kind of orangey pink, a yellow, a teal turquoisey color, and then this dusty mauve, because I felt like they matched or coordinated with the papel picado the best. They're not necessarily perfect matches, but I think that they really bring out the colors, and it looks very happy. It looks like a very happy and joyous spread, which makes me in turn very happy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate these colors around the spread so that we're going to have, going across the top row, each one of those colors, and then across the bottom, those same colors just offset a little bit. And when we were in Ohio, we went to the most amazing indie bookstore called, I think it's Gramercy Books, and I got 4 books from there, 2 of which I've read. So I've read The Weeping Tide by Amanda Foody and Amari and the Great Game by B.B. Alston. But I also snagged Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter, who I've said this before, I can't remember if it's been on this channel or not, but her books read like Taylor Swift songs, which is a compliment. And then there is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. And that is being turned into an Amazon TV show, miniseries, whatever, that I am very excited for. His books, he writes horror, but it's usually a little bit satirical. And I have honestly loved every single one of his books that I've read. He also wrote the Southern Book Club's Guide to Vampires, or Vampire Slaying, one of those, and the Final Girl Support Group. They were phenomenal. If you want to get really creepy, you can read Horror Store by him, which is essentially about an IKEA, but it gets really creepy body horror very, very fast. So we're getting some spooky wrecks in there, but if you want something a little more fluffy, Lynn Painter is definitely the way to go. But the ceremony for the wedding that we went to was beautiful, and honestly has us sort of rethinking how we want our ceremony to happen when we get married. We're getting married in almost a little over a year, and you know, I found out that Gil wants to write his own vows, which means that I am going to also be writing my own vows. So I have to figure that out. Maybe something like, I promise not to spend all of our money on craft supplies. That seems like a pretty good vow. I feel like I can make that happen. Here I am just lettering in the sort of abbreviations for the days of the week, so mun, tus, and I'm using again, alternating colors so they don't match. That way they don't like all perfectly align. And I thought that was just a really cute way to add a little bit more color to the spread. This sort of like 8 boxes subdivided is definitely my go-to layout. It's what I feel the most comfortable with because it can very easily be drawn out in a rush, right? And I feel like when you're on the go, you definitely want to lean more into what you are comfortable with. I, don't go trying fancy new special stuff when you have limited supplies and things like that. It's not Survivor or like Bear Grylls, So definitely if you want something a little bit fancier, I'd recommend just making the layout before you leave and filling it in with pen. But as we sort of begin to wrap up this video, if you are not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. Hit that like button, but only if you liked it, and enjoy this little preview of the entire spread. And as always, happy planning!